ladies and gentlemen. You gotta listen to the doctor, eh? Listen up. Listen to the song. Listen to that, the lyrics of the lead-in song. Music. Music is the doctor. Indeed it is. It's a sound, folks. A frequency. A word. The word doctor just is also synonymous with physician. Hey, Abby, if you can hear me, got a really bad echo going on the set today. Can you do what you can to stop that? Hello, Abby? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, it's just really echoing bad quite a bit. So, we left the show yesterday with the new breakthroughs, the new information just recently being published in the Serial Journal concerning what happens when grains, when specifically wheat, a kernel of wheat, what happens when the kernel of wheat is put in water and it germinates. Amazing transmutation occurs. Now, science is finding out these transmutations happen, that what was not there is suddenly there, and what is in the protein structure of the grain suddenly is gone. It's disappeared. It's vanished. This is exciting to me again because of really what my work is all about. I got to tell you, folks, and Abby, we're still getting quite an echo there. It's better. It's still there. It's still noticeable. Kind of hard to type a message response, but it's better. Thank you. It's better. Not all the way gone, but it's better. That's good now. It's really good now. Better. Thank you. Thank you, Abby. So, what does all this mean? Why is it important for me personally to take 10 hours out of my week to do a radio show? Why do I do it? Some people would say, well, he must have a big ego that needs to be stroked. He's got to be pumping himself. You've got to be a little narcissistic to do a radio show like this. And I hope that's not the reason why I do a radio show. I can think of a whole lot better ways to spend these hours, this prime time slot. I submit to you folks just because I really care about my fellow man. I care about this country. I love this country. Call me a hopeless romantic. You know, I still get choked up, and I don't mind telling you, I shed tears. I cry when I hear the words of the song. I hear the songs, America the Beautiful song. I do. I love this country. I love its rocks and rills, its woods and templed hills. Indeed, I do. And I love freedom. I do. I love to walk this earth free. Free to think, free to act, free to speak. Folks, I know for a fact not conspiracy theory. It's conspiracy fact. There are some very dark, evil forces wish to take that very freedom away, and worse, take a very life away of people. There's very numerous ways in which this is done. America is free and America is great because America is good. And what I mean by good is America stands for the most part, for Christian values of helping your neighbor out, being a good Samaritan, helping people out, even though there's no payment involved. Americans still tend to stop and help the woman with the freeway flat tire. And if somebody comes to most Americans today and said, "Can you help me?" most Americans will help, and do so with a handshake and a pat on the back. So that's what I hope that America can wake up to the conspiracy that seeks to destroy this country, its very moral fiber. Americans remain free because we are a bastion of protection, of self-reliance, self-dependence. I have guns, folks, because I hunt, because I want to defend myself. I understand the founding fathers and why they made the Second Amendment an icon. Second Amendment is not about guns, folks. It really isn't. That's a misnomer. The Second Amendment is the right to protect yourselves, be a citizen's militia. Militias have gotten a really bad, negative connotation following the Edward P. Murrow building in Oklahoma City bombing by two wacky old right-wing conservative members of a militia. That was by design. That was absolutely by design. You don't read or hear too much about militias anymore. They're the liberal, progressive, so-called communist. Progressive is just another word for communism, folks. The progressive press wants you to think that you gather together as a citizens militia, you've got to be some kind of terrorist nut. What good is a militia that is only armed with toothbrushes? Founding fathers knew that the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed because it has to do with giving the militia teeth. People in this country don't understand that, it seems. Gotta keep my guns. They don't understand why I have the right to keep and bear arms. So. There's no way to separate physical freedom from good health and vitality, because if you're sick in bed, if you're sick in the head, if you're suffering from mental illness, and if you're tied to a daily prescription of antidepressant medicines and other things, you're not living. You might as well be locked away in a prison cell. There's different types of prisons. See. In 1997, I launched my company, Mother Earth Minerals. I shouldn't say Mother Earth Minerals. It originally was Energy Images, a sole proprietorship. But I was called it Energy Images because I was able to physically take pictures through dark field microscopy and other means of the energy portions of the cells, the blood, tissues, the organs. Energy Images was formed, to put out minerals and water in a mineral and water solute, applying the principles I learned from my doctoral PhD work. I want today, and again, please bear with me if I talk about myself a little bit today. I have people ask me in emails and posts on my blog that follow this radio show. They're asking me to tell them more about my history. And so I hope you understand, folks, that and I believe the axiom is true. Nobody cares how much. They don't care about you until they know how much you care about them. I do care about people listening to the show. Don't get paid for this radio show. I don't. I've been accused of being a, quote, a COINTELPRO agent, working for some kind of a division of some alphabet soup letter of this. This is the most absurd accusation, because if I tell you, they entertain me nearly enough. If they aren't, I haven't seen a nickel of that. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous slander. I need to tell the story today of what led me to form my company and why. And why I really don't do any advertising, why I just try to stay under the radar, do things quietly now. 1997, I formed Energy Images and began doing my water-soluble minerals. I bought a distiller, a medicinal-grade water distiller, used actually from a kidney dialysis center. Because you see, I had to start by rebirthing water. There's a lot of libel and slander going out about me personally, that I am not really a PhD, that I'm this phony guy that sells water, claiming it's minerals, etc., etc. I mean, this is gaining quite a bit of steam because I'll tell you, my business has never been in such a problem as we just sales are not happening. Whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe it's the economy. Maybe I spent too much time blogging about things like Sandy Hoax and Manti Te'o and Mormonism. Maybe it's true. Maybe I spent too much time and not out talking to people and traveling like I used to do. I used to spend 2 to 3 weeks or a month at a time doing PowerPoint presentations and seminars across this country. But the bottom line is, folks, my company's minerals are sold worldwide. We have people all over the world buying, utilizing our products. We have file cabinets full of testimonials of chronic disease states that have been reversed. Now, I know the reason why there is a concerted effort to blackball me and to discredit my work. I understand that. Now I know clearly who was behind it and why. You know, it's not nice to tick off the Edomites. For whatever reason, they do employ some pretty powerful propaganda. And people seem to believe them. That's what gets me. People actually believe that Israel is God's chosen people. The vast majority of so-called Christians believe that. They're not. And so they believe that big lie. They'll believe about anything else. These Edomite agents want to spread and spew out. So I just, again, want to take this Friday broadcast to tell you some of the incredible realities of truth of health. Share with you what I share with people across this country when I do health seminars. There are too many people in this country that are Adam Lanzas, if you want to use a phrase. There's too many people in this country that are bipolar, chronically depressed. There are too many people, you see, that are simply nutritional and mineral deficient. That's why I do the company I do. That's why I do the products that I do. I wrote my book, Wellness Secrets for Life. I actually put it out in a manuscript back in 1995 and then took it to a publisher in the late 90s, and it's now in its 4th edition. Translated in 3 different languages. Used to be taught, ladies and gentlemen, used to be taught as a nutritional textbooks, places like Drexel University. It explains exactly how the human body needs minerals, specifically 21 base minerals. Talked yesterday about anti-nutrients in grains. Let me again refresh your memory on what we talked about yesterday. Grain like soybeans, soy, like wheat kernels, like corn. When it's harvested from the ear of the corn, see, it's typically dried and put into ground into meal. When you take that grain, it's not living. It's gone into kind of a dead state. It doesn't become alive again until you hydrate it, until you put it in water. When you do that, water provides a miracle. That hydrogen-oxygen bond comes in and suddenly you have transmutation, incredible transmutation, and at the cellular level as that rain comes alive. Talked yesterday about something called phytic acid, PHYTIC, phytic acid. Talked about the tannins, the complex proteins, what's called enzyme inhibitors in the grain itself, in the wheat kernel, in the soy kernel. These are natural substances. They're organic substances, you see, but they're there to preserve the integrity of that life form, that seed, that burst of energy, that regrowth. They're there to protect that. They're dead. They're dying. They're dying food. When the human body eats that grain, that corn, that high fructose corn syrup, the soy is extremely high in phytic acid. Here's what happens, folks. It gets into your intestinal tract. You see, corn and grain and soy is not for human beings to eat that way. Cows have more than one stomach, you see. Goats, horses. Their intestinal tract is very long, twice as long as a human being's, with an extra stomach, a rumen. They can digest these grains, but humans can't. Bread that you eat, the bun on your hamburger or hot dog, carbohydrates, you see, made of wheat flour that is loaded with the phytic acids and these enzyme inhibitors. And as you eat them over months and years of your life, they accumulate in your digestive tract, and they stop you from absorbing your prime minerals, your calcium, your magnesium, key thing, magnesium, your chromium, your vanadium, your copper, your iron. Can't absorb it in your gastrointestinal tract. You have phytic acid residues. You can't. These are called anti-nutrients. And worse, when this accumulated tract, you're the high risk for cancers, folks. If you don't have the minerals balancing your bloodstream out in your tissues, your organs like your brain can't function correctly, and guess what happens? You start to forget. You might go to your doctor and you might have some form of dementia, or you've got this terrible Alzheimer's going on. You might have something in your brain going on, lesions in your brain. They identify now as Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, the human form of mad cow disease. What is mad cow disease, folks? What is Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease? CJD? It's an enzyme. That's all it is. It's an enzyme that has worked. It's an anti-nutrient. That sound familiar, folks? It's a protein that, flat out, is nearly immortal. I truly fear for the next generation of young men and women. We are the aging baby generation. I was born in 1959, and those born in that decade of 50 are aging babies. And this generation, obesity is epidemic, as is diabetes. I mean, come on. There are so many kids in America, children, prepubescent, have shoot up in the pancreas is shot. The statistics that out of it. Well, we got cut off. I guess we're back. I hope we're back. I don't know what happened there, but we went off the air. Boom, bingo. So as I was saying, 1 out of every 3 Caucasian children under the age of 12 are estimated by the CDC in Atlanta to contract diabetes in their lives. And it's worse for minorities, Hispanics, and Negroes. African Americans. I gotta be politically correct, right? It's 50%. 1 out of every 2. Is there why? I know exactly why it is. Find it in the pages of my book, Wellness Secrets for Life. You see, my mineral products are made from pure distilled water, nothing else but distilled water to begin with. We do that because, you see, you can't just filter water. You can't just strain water, because water has an absolutely incredible capacity to retain memory of its contaminants. You have to rebirth the water, and that means you turn it back into its main component of steam. And then while it's in the steam, you pull out all of its heavy contaminants, and then it forms itself back into water droplets, and it's rebirthed. Has no memory anymore. It's like a brand new baby. So we then take this brand new baby water and we put a specific frequency into it, the frequency of a mineral, and hit it with electromagnetics, causing it to really be powerfully bound with and releasing electrons as it needs to. Electron charging. That's the secret of Mother Earth minerals, folks. I'll tell you what. Take a break and come back at the top of the office, the next segment. The health secrets you really need.
Nourish your family through a disaster? Probably not. Round out your long-term food storage needs with the finest name in the business, the freeze-dried guy. Freeze-dried foods preserve all of the freshness, color, flavor, and aroma that you want in your food, while giving you the peace of mind of knowing that nourishment is there when you need it. From main course entrees, breakfast foods, meats, vegetables, desserts, and snacks, the freeze-dried guy carries a wide variety of meal options that will suit your dietary needs and can be stored for decades. Serving the U.S. military and the private sector for almost 40 years, find out why the freeze-dry guy is the best you can buy. Give him a call at 530-265-8333. That's 530-265-8333. Or visit them online at www.freezedryguy.com. Tell them you heard about it on the Micro Effect. The Freeze-Dry Guy!
Positive results from satisfied customers of Heart and Body Extract continue to pour into our website, hbextract.com.
This is Al from New Jersey. One day I saw your ad for Heart and Body Extract, and it mentioned that it would help me with angina, so I decided to order. I figure I had nothing to lose.
Heart and Body Extract supplies your body with everything it needs to balance itself and maintain optimal heart and circulatory health with no negative side effects.
I took the formula 3 times a day as directed, and I kid you not, within 4 days my angina pain was completely gone.
Order HB Extract by calling 866-295-5305 or online at hbextract.com. That's 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
I could not believe it actually stopped the pain. Heart and Body Extract actually works. This is just an amazing product. Even the numbness in my hands is completely gone.
Heart and Body Extract for a long and healthy life.
Now you can feel that squeaky clean sensation like none other with Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash. Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash is a unique natural formula not found in any other oral care products. With a gentle combination of zinc, folic acid, myrrh, and clove oil, Vitamer effectively whitens teeth, removes plaque, and freshens breath, and it does it naturally without any harmful chemicals. Visit us online at Vitamer.com. That's VITAMYR.com. Or call us today to place your order at 1-888-558-8482. That's 1-888-558-8482. Keep your teeth and gums healthy with Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash. Vitamer, nature's answer to healthy teeth and gums. And remember, it's all completely natural. Available at participating health food stores nationwide.
Been talking, but somehow music stays super loud. Maybe there's something going on that you can't hear me, but yeah, no problem. We're back. Oh golly, water. Really, the more I look back over the last 15 years, the more I realize that, you know, I owe so much of my health, my family's health, my success in my business ventures to this research on water. Water in the form of water-soluble minerals. You see, minerals only work if they're in a usable form, if they're able to get into the bloodstream, and then the bloodstream can take them, the blood cells can take them where they're needed, where it's needed in the rest of the body. Well, what can I say? When I do lectures on minerals, I have to spend at least half the time talking about water. Just amazing what I'm going to tell you now, folks. And people hear me talk about this, and they roll their eyes, and they say, "This guy, some kind of new age crazy." All the time, I hear. I tell them, you know what? You don't need to run your automobiles on a petrochemical, a hydrocarbon called gasoline. You know, you can run your vehicle on H2O. I'm the water boy, yeah. Look like good quality H2O. Indeed, that silly Adam Sandler movie, The Water Boy. You know, portray anybody that really promotes really good water as being inbred in that case. Adam Sandler is Edomite, Hebrew, Jew, not Hebrew, Jewish, claims to be Hebrew. Hollywood is script writers, and they're all of this tribe. I hope it's not anti-Semitical just to declare the truth, for better or for worse. Folks, why am I in such reverence of water? Because I've studied it. I mean, I've studied water for 25 years. And the more I think I know about it, the more I realize I don't have a clue. Here's what you need to realize and maintain about water. Without water, there is no life. There is no life as we know it. Do you realize, folks, that we are water beings? Human beings are mostly composed of water. Our blood is water. Our brains are water. Different structures and form of water, period. We're water with mud. Mud being minerals, and that's just the way it is. We spend the first 9 months of our existence on planet Earth in a watery world called a womb. You know, in my study of Christianity, my objective analysis of Christianity, I approach Christianity exactly as I do my scientific research. If it's not verifiable and logical and provable, I just discard it. And I got to say, there's a little bit of faith involved, because you can't transport back in time and space and witness Christ's miracles. You have to take it on faith that these writers of the Old Testament and these eyewitnesses, the writers of the Gospels, were honest and correct in everything they did and said, that the Bible is exactly what it says it is, an adequate, accurate historical record, but an incredible story of God come to earth, Emmanuel, God with us. So I have to believe, that, again, these places in the Bible are real. And yeah, you can go visit them. The 7 churches that John the Revelator wrote while he was there in the island of Patmos. You can go to the exact monastery. Still there. The stones are still there. The building is still there in the Isle of Patmos. You can go visit the 7 churches in the 7 cities that he wrote to specifically. They're still there. You can walk today where Jesus walked. You can visit the area of his birth called Bethlehem. It's a real place. There's a real cave, a manger there, folks. All the places where he ministered, they're there. Not fiction. It's not make-believe. Unlike the Book of Mormon in a place called Zarahemla that is flat out not anywhere and never been excavated, never been found. Just flat out disappeared in the thin air, according to apologists like Hugh Nibley. Just disappeared. It don't matter. We don't need to know. Just have to have blind faith. Follow our leaders. They'll never lead us astray. Mantras. Folks, if you're a Christian or proclaim to be Christian, you better take a good hard look at Christ's relationship with water. This is the first recorded miracle in the book of John, is at the wedding feast where he turned water into a fermented not only a fermented wine, a fermented grape juice, but a very fine, expensive, vintage type of wine. The best wine of all was what he turned that water into. This Emmanuel, God with us, absolutely walked on water. Think about that, folks. Think about the physical characteristics of water. Physically, it shouldn't do what it does. Water is the only substance on this planet that when it gets frozen becomes lighter than the substance is before it was frozen. Most things, when they're frozen, they shrink. Water expands. It does everything opposite. Look at all the miracles he performed, folks. Most of them involve water, whether it's in the form of his saliva, which is water based, or washing in a pool of Siloam. Water, folks. The apocryphal book, the book of the Apocrypha, book called the Arabic Gospel of the Nativity, covers all of his life as a young child, even a baby, going into Egypt. We just learned from the Gospels that an angel came and warned Joseph to leave, to flee, to get in Egypt. Why Egypt, you see? There's a reason why he had to go to Egypt. He had to do mighty miracles there as a young child, as a toddler and a baby and still in swaddling clothes. Because you see, the incredible story of the Arabic book of the Nativity is that Christ had daily baths. His mother Mary was a very good mother and kept him clean, washed him daily. And this water that came off of his body was powerful in healing. It cleansed lepers, according to this apocryphal book. And all through his early boyhood and childhood, the stories are that he used water. He was master of water, folks, because he was the creator. How did this creator make us, make the animals, make the plants, make the flora and the fauna? How did it happen? Let's go to the very beginning. Beginning is called Genesis. In the beginning. Genesis 1, chapter 1. The beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Verse 2 is very clear. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God, which is, again, there's three forms of God according to the mysteries, folks. It's God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit, all one God. God the Spirit. The Spirit of God moved upon the face of what? Face of the waters, plural. The watchers. The basic elements of the universe. Oxygen, hydrogen as gas. How in the world Can two gases combine to make a liquid? But it is. So the very first act of creation, Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Then comes light, verse 3. And then in verse 4, there's the light is divided from the darkness. Darkness is the opposite of light. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. Now here is the key in verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, plural. And let it divide the waters from the waters. That's exactly the creation right there, folks. Firmament, you see, is the Hebrew word for that, the firmament, the Hebrew icons. Firmament also has, it's a word meaning structure. It means what's best described as a ladder. Also, it's another word for ladder. Remember the biblical story of Jacob and his ladder? Jacob's ladder going into heaven. The ladder, in most instances, is depicted as not just a straight ladder to wood. It's a spiral staircase. Isn't it interesting that spiral ladders are exactly the structure, the firmament of our DNA, our genetic coding? Everything in creation is tied to DNA, tied to that genome. And what is DNA, folks? What is deoxynucleic acid? It's hydrogen ion chains. It's water. You have to have water to make all creation. See how important water is? We take it for granted. Boy, we just don't realize it. Great, it's convenient. I love to go out on water and fish. Not to catch fish, per se, but to get out and just be on the water and there commune with my Creator. Whether it's a river or a stream, wading in a stream, doing a fly rod. If a fish comes up and grabs it, it's fun. I'll bring him in and I'll give him a little kiss and let him go. Unless I need something for the frying pan. Most of the time they get released. But it's there being one without water, to me. People like Victor Schauberger, who I learned about doing my PhD work. My PhD, folks, was issued. Hey, you may have heard all of this gobbledygook going about me, this negative slander. He's not really a PhD. Yes, I am. My PhD is out of Dresden, Germany, a place called the Knipe Institute, brokered by the World Naturopathic Health Organization in the 90s. The WHO, the World Naturopathic Health Organization, is no more. Dr. James DeSalt, who brokered these deals through the American College, is no more. He's dead. brutally murdered, shot in the head with a .45 caliber bullet. Dresden, Germany, is the hospital city of Europe in the 30s. The headquarters of nutrition, folks. The research and study of homeopathy and water signature vibrations. The Edomites that are in control of Joint Chiefs of Staff ordered Dresden to be firebombed back to the Stone Age, the last tail end part of World War II. Valuable. In countless tons of valuable research was firebombed. See, the biggest threat to the Edomite-controlled pharmaceutical cartel is white Christianity and the research into water. Because that is Jesus Christ. That is his teaching. The Antichrist hordes of Satan, these Edomites, they know that True Odd is the number one expert on water healing and water modality. Of that, I have no doubt. They know that I really do stand as a threat to their operation. The thing that they fear the worst, folks, is if a mass awakening happens, if people start to grasp how they've been lied to from the very beginning, from nutrition, lies that have been withheld from them. If we can wake up enough people one at a time, we can turn the tide, and we can do so powerfully and do quick. That's why I do this radio show. That's why I talk about nutrition. Why I offer my books to you, my knowledge. I'm going to give you a telephone number. If you don't know, if you haven't heard about my company, please learn about it, understand what it's all about. Get my book, Wealth Secrets for Life. Read it. Share it. Get the products. There's nothing like them. I promise you, anywhere on this planet is unique. There are companies. I formed my company back in 1997, I should say, that have copied me, but they don't have the formulas. They want you to think they've got what I've got, but they don't. They don't know how to electromagnetically change the structure. And they don't use distilled water in their formulations. They don't understand homeopathy. They don't understand Avogadro's numbers. They don't understand that minerals must be pure. In their structure, they exhibit an absolute frequency of energy and sound. The number you could reach, caller, this is too late tonight, but Monday, it's a toll-free number, 866-989-9876. That's my business line, hotline. My website is www.me, that's for Mother Earth Minerals.com, meminerals.com. I tell you, who's ever starting these dreadful rumors? Oh, look at his website logo. It's an Illuminati symbol. It's New World Order symbol. It's evil. It's blah, 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 blah. Holy mackerel. Really? I mean, when I sat there and I thought, well, I need to have a logo structure for my company, Mother Earth Minerals. What am I going to design? What do I want to portray to people? The whole premise of making the minerals is to break through the chains of darkness, the Illuminati pyramid, dark, the all-seeing eye, to break through that, to destroy it, turn it into light, turn the darkness into light. So I show planet Earth surrounded by a black force, a black controlling entity, and the golden lies, the golden rays, the lines of truth, the golden rays of truth are doing the destruction. This is what you see in my icon. It's not a symbol. It's meant completely to break through it, to free Mother Earth from the Illuminati structure, these dark.
I have something I'd like to share with you. LisaKCandles.com is an all-natural soybean candle alternative. Before I found Lisa K Candles, I had lingering soot and allergens in my home. Not today. My Lisa K Candles are clearly a difference to see and breathe. And you know, that's a good peace of mind. LisaKCandles.com is an all-natural soybean candle, handmade from their popular line of fragrances. And guys, these candles make a perfect gift. Order an all-natural soy candle from LisaKCandles.com. I'm glad I did, and I know you will be too. Visit LisaKCandles.com. That's Lisa, the letter K, Candles.com. Or call 731-441-3293. That's 731-441-3293.
Johnson, help me, sir. Stand down. Oh, thank you, sir. I think you saved my life.
Evidence, Johnson. Even raccoons respect the authority of a man with good nutrition. That's me. Now, what's going on here?
Well, he started it, sir. I was trying to clean his fish, and he tried to take it from me.
Yeah, well, you must have looked a little wimpy.
Sir, I'm hungry.
Johnson, if you'd have brought your own supply of freeze-dried food from the freeze-dry guy, like I told you, you wouldn't have to be out here picking on the cute little animals.
Oh, I'd give anything for a big chunk of protein right now.
Johnson, don't salivate. It's unbecoming a Marine.
I'm sorry, sir. I should have called the freeze-dry guy.
Bugs you, don't it, Johnson? You're suffering your MREs, and I'm enjoying chicken a la king and lasagna and bacon and eggs for breakfast.
Sir, shut up.
Johnson?
Sorry, sir.
Get your own supply of the best long-term storage food available. Call 866-404-3663 or go to freezedryguy.com.
The Micro Effect is the purest form of alternative news and information on the airwaves today. Be part of the effort to inform your fellow Americans about the things they need to know. Help us reach those that are looking for answers and truth about the world today. For a limited time, we are offering a dozen business card-sized magnets for every $25 contribution. Take a minute and go to our website and take a look at how neatly designed these magnets are. Pass them out or give them to your friends and neighbors. Let others know that we are speaking out and that they too have a voice of freedom. Once again, that's a dozen Micro Effect magnets that are business card size for your $25 contribution. For those who are able to contribute more than $25, we have other offers such as 30 magnets for a $50 contribution, or how about 75 business card size Micro Effect magnets for $100. Help this network reach America 24 hours a day with your contributions. This is how we fight back with your freedom of speech. If you can't hear us, you're not listening.
story behind the story. Okay, yes, top of the hour. We're ready for America's favorite game show. America in Jeopardy. Okay, this anti-nutrient is extremely high in soybeans and in raw grains. When consumed, it accumulates in the abdominal tract, makes it almost impossible for you to absorb minerals from the food you eat. Great job, Abby. Thank you. Good job, dear. Okay, that's the answer to the question is what is phytic acid? Phytic acid. Folks, we here in America have been lied to by the American Heart Association. We've been lied to by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. We've been given us the bill of goods. This year is going to be an incredible watershed year to raise money again for the war on cancer. The women that are going to have their pink ribbons. Walk for the Cure, the American Cancer Society. We're going to raise millions, if not billions of dollars to find a cure for this dread disease. Well, folks, the reality is that if you don't get cancer, you're probably going to get diabetes or heart disease or die of a stroke. That's your odds. Unless you die in a car accident or in a school shooting somewhere, okay? Unbelievable the way the news media puts out that guns are the biggest reason why we're now dropped to 37th in this list of 60 industrialized nations. 37th in life expectancy. We're decreasing life expectancy. It's all because of these evil guns. The progressive newspapers would have you believe. Holy mackerel. They don't talk about the epidemic of obesity and heart disease. Folks, you die of a heart infarction or a stroke in the brain because of your unhealthy gut. That's what I'm telling you, folks. They want you to believe that you should need a lot of proteins, a lot of cream, and oh, heaven forbid, if you go out and drink warm milk from the teat of a cow without getting it heated and homogenized and pasteurized, you're going to drop dead. How in the world did we ever survive as a human race? Homogenization, pasteurization, ladies and gentlemen, kills enzymes and alters the proteins that are in milk so that you can't process them in your gut. On top of that, you have grain cereals that are in boxes or in plastic bags in the storeroom shelves that have also been denatured, heated to a high level, just like the cow's milk. And the enzymes and anti-nutrients have been multiplied and powerfully so. And you wonder why it is that little Jimmy or little Jenny sits down with their bottles, their plastic jug of skim milk poured on their big bowl of Fruit Loops or Count Chocula. Think they're getting nutrition when in fact poisoning their brain, poisoning their intestinal tract. And you wonder why life expectancy is dropping. Got to change, folks, because you see we're entering the third generation now, and lab animals, even primates, but lab rats, guinea pigs. The third generation of toxic animals become permanently that way. You don't think it's serious to talk about this stuff? You better wake up, and you better absolutely look in the mirror. How do you change things? You learn and you apply the knowledge. Yesterday we talked about what happens in transmutations of wheat, what is sprouted. I went through this, and I'm preparing a paper on all of these 35 7 times 5 protein changes. These new enzyme structures that are, you go through and look at how the cell metabolism works, how biology of the cell works. This is what just amazes me. If I were to sit there and lick the list of the most important phytonutrients for cellular health, energy, and the primal units of nutrition, I couldn't make a better design than in a sprouted wheat seed. It's perfect in every way. There's not a whole heck of a lot more that you need. Unless you're a vegan, it's steak. Whether it's red meat or steak of halibut or fish or a chunk of chicken. The amino acid chains and the proteins there in that food, it's building the cells, it's nutrition, but guess what? Nothing like this germinated wheat. Nothing. Not nearly as balanced, not nearly as energizing, not nearly as pH balancing. Not anywhere close. Now, we'd long suspected this in the field of nutrition when I received my doctorate and did my studies in the 90s. This was taught because it was observed. In the difference, the healing difference sprouting makes, but they didn't explain it scientifically. Studies had to be done to prove it. Now the studies have been done that prove it. This study is 2009. There is no faith anymore. It's proven. And in the 1970s, I pulled up another report that was from the same website, the Association of Cereochemistry. Cereochemistry. In the 1970s, and other studies done in the 60s, ladies and gentlemen, 60s and 70s. That was to the detrimental, harmful effects of extrusion. That's the name given for the processing of grains under high heat, forcing them through an extrusion machine to make breakfast cereals. Now, I have to ask, if this information was available back at this early age 50 years ago, I have to ask you why does it remain buried? It can't It cannot be all about making money. That's a part of it. But you can make just as much money selling healthy food. I submit to you that these industry giants consciously made this decision to poison the people because it forms chronic disease states that the same corporate giants control big pharma. Big food, big pharma, same people at the top. It really is amazing how tight the circle is at the top of the pyramid. I'm just amazed when my corporate attorney, I meet with her, she's just, you put all these things on your website, I follow your blog. She says, the average untrained eye will tell you that you're neo-Nazi skinhead, white supremacist. I said to her, no. Please understand that every time I turn over a rock, the same piece of pond scum crawls up out of there. I can't help it. It's just what it is. I can't lie and say it's not the same pond scum. It's not the same troglodyte. It's the same group. I just marvel at it. And then it comes full circle. Well, who in the world was it that conspired to crucify the most perfect, beautiful, God of the universe, the Creator, our Father, our counselor, our friend? Who did it? A group of people. And it just breaks my heart. You see, we're created just a little bit lower than the angels. Christ said not in your books, ye are gods. We are little gods that can become one with Him. What does it mean? Literally mean when He promises us that we can become His sons, that we can become joint heirs with Him. What does that mean? It means that we can rule with Him and be with Him in every way, shape, and form. Talk about a powerful promise. Yet there are those out there who fight against that promise and have saddled their star with the serpent, saddled their horse with a broken down chariot, and that is tragic too. The American Cancer Society has been involved in racketeering and fraud for so long, because I'll tell you, folks, in the 50s, the cure, the whole absolute cure for cancer is in the medical record. It has been there since the 50s. It's like the information on anti-nutrients in grains and soy, all these things. They know it, yet they don't let you know it. Do you know that the cure for cancer, the prevention of cancer, absolutely 100%, has been in the medical record since 1950s? This honest researcher team, Dr. Krebs is his name, found that there was a really strange, bizarre enzyme mutation at cancer cells. Nutrients. You eat a lot of grains that are and cow's milk that is in nature and flat out become toxic to you? Cancer cells are your own cells. You don't catch cancer. It's your own cells that are reacting to the toxins you put in your body. People go and they're not feeling, oh my God, got this. So they go and get checked out. Maybe they're not having bowel movement like they should. That's when they're really plugged up. So they go to their oncologist. They do the test. Mr. Jones, you got cancer. And my golly, you didn't come in and get a check run up at stage 4. It's bad. It's really bad. Get your affairs in order, Mr. Jones, because you don't have long. And when you get that news, woe is me. I guess we ought to go sometime, so now it's my time. Here's a news flash for you, ladies and gentlemen, listening to the show today. Wherever you are, wherever you are, I'm telling you right now, guess what? You have cancer. Your 10-year-old son or daughter, guess what? They have cancer. Every human being on planet Earth has cancer. You understand that, folks? You better. You get trillions, 70-plus trillion cells in your body. A couple billion of them at any one time are mutating and they're cancerous. You understand that? Well, do you have a little skin cancer node or a breast cancer module? Everybody has cancer. It's just part of the natural structure of your body. The question is your immune system, is your nutritional status such that it's able to keep it from overpowering the area where it's growing? That's the million-dollar question. Dr. Krebs found this out in the 1950s. He found his cancers of whatever the kind they are, the cells have a completely mutated enzyme amylase structured base. There's something, that's amazing to these cancer cells. They replicate what's called pluripotent stem cells. They grow out of control. The pluripotent stem cell is the fetus cell that multiplies so powerfully and fast in the mother's womb to make a baby. Pluripotent stem cells, the growth factors of cancer cells mimic the pluripotent stem cells. They're really the same thing. There's just a different mutation going on. And Dr. Krebs, in his brilliance, isolated the substance that kills cancer cells naturally, keeps your healthy cells from developing the enzyme mutations. This is massively groundbreaking, incredibly accurate science. It's not quackery. It's not flakiness. It's fact. Dr. Krebs and his team identified the nutrient that's responsible for this, and it's called vitamin B17. Vitamin B17, a.k.a. nitriliside. Chances are good you haven't heard the story before. You want to talk about conspiracy? Here's one of the biggest ones. Vitamin B17, as you see, is nature's God's chemotherapy. Vitamin B17 has a unique structure, this nitrilloside. There's two glucose molecules that's connected and bound to a cyanide molecule and a benzaldehyde molecule. Cyanide, benzaldehyde combined with two glucose structure cells. Cyanide by itself kills cells, destroys cells. It's toxic poison. Ditto with benzaldehyde. But as Krebs found out in his studies, that when bound with the sugar molecules, the glucose molecules, the healthy cell, through the enzyme folding process, it utilizes it as a coenzyme factor, as a nutrient. It's a food to the healthy cell. But at the cancer cell, the mutated pluripotent structure of a cancer cell run amok, B17 is broken down. It doesn't absorb it all. It breaks it down, and the benzaldehyde and the cyanide kills it dead. Whack. And then it's put into the bloodstream, the lymphatic system, and it eliminates it from the body, and you're good to go. Isn't that a miracle? Isn't that wonderful news? Why don't you know about that? This is what, see, when I was doing my research, and I got my doctoral was awarded. When my degree was awarded, I understood all of this work on Dr. Krebs and the Krebs cycle and the nitrilloside research. Well, Krebs is an American scientist. How come I'm learning about this from West German sources? From alternative sources, see? That's what floored me. You got to be kidding me. I enroll in a doctorate program offshore, and I'm learning about these things about American discoveries? Are you kidding me? So this time, there was this rich cat in Utah named John Huntsman Sr. It's all in the news at this time. I'm discovering all this, and I'm validating and verifying the research. He's cutting the ribbon on Huntsman campus. The ultimate cancer research facility in America, is what they're saying. Utah is going to lead the way. We're bringing the best of the best cancer researchers. Please donate money. Donate hundreds of thousands. It's a 501c3 nonprofit. You can get everything written off your taxes, so donate everything. We've got a hospital here. We're going to treat cancer, and we're going to research it. And we want come and share it with us. That was complete. So little naive, little bozo true bluff gets in his Chevy Cavalier by the 240 miles to the University of Utah, Huntsman Cancer Institute, to share my files and documentation on the Krebs breakthrough nitrilloside and show how it's worked for nutrition. I was treated well enough until we sat down in the boardroom. Oh, he said, I'll never forget this. These two, the white coat and the black coat next to him. Oh, the Krebs cycle. Oh, Dr. Alt, where did you get your degree? Where did you get your PhD? The World Naturopathic Health Organization brokered it through the American College. What? What's that? Dresden, Germany, the Knipe Institute. What? Oh, you're one of those. What do you mean, one of those? They were nice enough. They didn't take rub into my. What the guys were saying is sideways glances. One of those Cracker Jack box guys, you know, these crackpots. See, if I had said, Harvard, Dartmouth, Yale, class of '92, suddenly they would listen to me, probably. I don't know, maybe not. But they wouldn't have even given me an audience if I'd said, I'm a local businessman from Cedar City, Utah. Please, we're too busy. We don't have time to meet with Doctor, our PhD. Oh, let's meet with this guy. He sounds like he might be helpful. At least he might have some deep pockets and give us a couple $1,000 maybe. You know, this is the type of thing that they're after. Money. Donations. So you heard of Dr. Krebs and this information? It looked over. They kind of whispered back and says, oh yeah, didn't he isolate this and didn't he put it into a synthetic form? I said, yeah. Thank you, goodbye, we're not interested. What do you mean? We know all about Laetrile. See, that's what it was called. She patented and got the synthesis of the B17. Laetrile is toxic. It's proven. It's all a fairy tale. Boom, boom, boom. And they took my information, and I swear, they tore it up and threw it in the trash. What kind of a research facility is that they just take the lies, the bogus information? I said, what are you people all about? They said, what do you mean? I said, you're taking a knee-jerk reaction here. You claim to be this research facility. I'm here to tell you there is not one shred of evidence. What you just said, that this is not viable. Replicate exactly in your laboratory settings, your controlled settings. Replicate exactly what Dr. Krebs, there's the protocols right here. You have the means and the money to do it. Don't just say it doesn't work and throw it away. Check it out. Try it out. Like I'm doing with my mineral research. Laughed out of the room. Goodbye. I gotta go. Well, stay tuned. Sorry about the story. You can see for another half an hour.
I have something I'd like to share with you. LisaKCandles.com is an all-natural soybean candle alternative. Before I found Lisa K Candles, I had lingering soot and allergens in my home. Not today. My Lisa K Candles are clearly a difference to see and breathe. And you know, that's a good peace of mind. LisaKCandles.com is an all-natural soybean candle, handmade from their popular line of fragrances. And guys, these candles make a perfect gift. Order an all-natural soy candle from LisaKCandles.com. I'm glad I did, and I know you will be too. Visit LisaKCandles.com. That's Lisa, the letter K, Candles.com. Or call 731-441-3293. That's 731-441-3293.
Johnson, help me, sir. Stand down. Oh, thank you, sir. I think you saved my life.
Evidence, Johnson. Even raccoons respect the authority of a man with good nutrition. That's me. Now, what's going on here?
Well, he started it, sir. I was trying to clean his fish, and he tried to take it from me.
Yeah, well, he must have looked a little wimpy.
Sir, I'm hungry.
Johnson, if you'd have brought your own supply of freeze-dried food from the freeze-dry guy, like I told you, you wouldn't have to be out here picking on the cute little animals.
Oh, I'd give anything for a big chunk of protein right now.
Oh, Johnson, don't salivate. It's unbecoming a Marine.
I'm sorry, sir. I should have called the freeze-dry guy.
Bugged you, don't it, Johnson? You're suffering your MREs, and I'm enjoying chicken a la king and lasagna and bacon and eggs for breakfast.
Sir, shut up.
Johnson?
Sorry, sir.
Get your own supply of the best long-term storage food available. Call 866-404-3663 or go to freezedryguy.com.
The Micro Effect is the purest form of alternative news and information on the airwaves today. Be part of the effort to inform your fellow Americans about the things they need to know. Help us reach those that are looking for answers and truth about the world today. For a limited time, we are offering a dozen business card-sized magnets for every $25 contribution. Take a minute and go to our website and take a look at how neatly designed these magnets are. Pass them out or give them to your friends and neighbors. Let others know that we are speaking out and that they too have a voice of freedom. Once again, that's a dozen Micro Effect magnets that are business card size for your $25 contribution. For those who are able to contribute more than $25, we have other offers such as 30 magnets for a $50 contribution, or how about 75 business card size Micro Effect magnets for $100. Help this network reach America 24 hours a day with your contributions. This is how we fight back with your freedom of speech. If you can't hear us, you're not listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final segment of today's Story Behind the Story. It's Friday, the 25th day of January, the year 2013. Folks, this is in the medical record. Cancer has been identified. The cure has been identified. There is no need to search any longer. There is no a drug that's going to cure cancer. You may arrest its growth, but that's about it. You may have a synthetic chemical that may block its growth, but at what cost? There's going to be an effect, a side effect to it. There always is. But Mother Nature's cure is already in the books, and it's not in the formula for these Edomite big pharma people to let the goy, let the human cattle know, let the sheep know. But it's amazing, folks. It's absolutely valid. I'm telling you, I know, because I've very quietly gone about sharing this information and seeing changes. Hey, folks, the biggest thing that naysayers, these allopathic medical establishment people say, well, there may be things happening, but it's all faith and prayers and placebo. The human body can change if they believe strongly enough about it. You know, it's the belief structures. This is not the nutrients that are doing it. See, that's their big excuse. It's placebo effect, right? Well, folks, I'm sorry, but animals like bears and dogs and kitty cats, they don't have preconceived notions. They don't have placebo effects. I'm here to tell you that I've seen animals with cancer put on a high nitrolycite diet, and amazing things happen. Back when I was trying to get the word out on my radio show about this, like in the 90s, a friend or an associate that heard my radio show and who I helped get over a prostate cancer situation completely, Had a friend that he knew living up in Park City, Utah area that was famous because he had a pair of movie star grizzly bears. Maybe you've seen that movie, the series Grizzly Adams. These are the bears that were tame and yet were there in countless movies. One of them had developed a pretty serious cancer system, and he was lethargic, and it was pretty nasty. They'd been to the best vets. They actually had surgery to remove some of the tumor, but it was still growing. It was still a problem. So my friend said, "Can you consult for these guys?" Well, yeah, absolutely. What's your fee? It's free. I don't charge. I never charged a fee for consulting. It's ridiculous. Well, they were really skeptical of this guy. Where'd you get your doctorate? Where'd you study? Well, I graduated with a BS. You know what that means? BS? Yeah. I graduated with a BS. I was top BS from Southern Utah University, and I graduated with a mortarboard on my head. A lot of good that did me. To be part of a corrupt system. My PhD is out of Germany and is broke. Oh. Well, do you want to talk to me or not? I can help you, I think, but just use logic here. He goes, okay, well, what do you have to tell me? Well, here it is. Tell me, you're the bear expert. You know more about this species and black bears, Ursulus americanus, than I do. I'm not the expert, but tell me, have you ever heard of a wild bear dying of cancer? It looked at me like, what? Oh, what? And to think of it, I haven't. As any hunter, in all of the lower 48 states or Alaska or Canada, ever been out hunting caribou or moose or elk and then walked up to a bear dying full of cancer tumors? No, of course not. I haven't, and he hadn't either. I says, well, what do you think that tells you? I don't know. Tell me what you think. Well, simple. What are you feeding this bear? And I kid you not. He says, well, we have a special formula from Purina. They call it Purina Bear Chow. I said, are you kidding me? No, it's always they supply it to zoos and other things. Purina Bear Chow. I kid you not. And what's in this Purina Bear Chow? Well, much like you see in your dog chow. Grains, denatured grains. Animal byproduct. What the heck is animal byproduct? You ever thought of that? It's rendered animals. Little Bambi gets hit on the highway. They take it into a rendering plant. And they grind it up, bones, brains, guts, everything, and put it into hooves and all. Animal byproducts. I kid you not. Oh. Well, that's not so bad. Bears, they'll eat about anything. They're omnivorous, They'll go and eat roadkill, and they'll eat almost everything, even the bones. Well, yeah. But it's not denatured. It's not heated up till it becomes a gruel and then forced into, again, these capsules. I mean, it's the same thing as the extrusion process in your grains. Same process of pasteurization, homogenation. They chop it up high heat and they make animal byproducts of it. And he says, okay, well, your point? I said, this creates anti-proteins and causes these tumors to form. Okay, he says, so what do you, I says, you want to get this bear back to health, strength? Let him go back to nature. Let him graze and eat the grasses. And you want to get him well, feed him literally a ton of fresh berries, fresh cane and berries with seeds intact. You see, caneberry seeds are extremely high in B17 nitrillicides, the berry seeds. And I studied feed them millet and apricot kernels. They're extremely high in B17. They filled my advice, and the bear recovered amazingly quickly. The problem was the surgery they had on ruined his inter-organs, and he just wasn't the same. His moving bear was over. But a few more years and then was put down. Folks, it's the same thing with your body. Think about this logically. You know, I've been up to Alaska a number of times. My good business partner named Vance Eversole had a beautiful place and operation there on the Kenai River in Alaska, and so I go up and help him out. And you know, if they're learning about the culture of Alaska, it's wonderful. I love Alaska, man. It's a beautiful state. Wild, you've got to get away from that crowded portion. He talked to some of the Inuits, the local Indians, the Eskimos, the other tribes. And I was talking about this to Vance, and he introduced me to some of the elders of the Inuit people there. And in their native tongue, I asked if they had any equivalent word for cancer. Nope. There is no big bump on chest diet. No. No equivalent for tumor on a head or any other part of the body? And he'd laugh, no. And here's the point. Why? Why is there no word? And also there's no Indian word in the Lakota Sioux and Cheyenne and those Indian tribes. None of the Indians that I've ever talked to, they have no word. They have no word in the vocabulary. Cancer or tumor. They don't, because it didn't exist. The reason why it never was existing in the Inuit culture and the American Indian culture is because they didn't denature their food. In the summertime, they protected bears, they fed themselves, gorged themselves on berries, service berries, so the berries are super high in B17. The wild animals they harvested, the caribou, their meat's extremely rich in vitamin B17. Why? Because that's all they ate was the foliage that was extremely rich in the northern area, the northern climate, very high in nitrillicides and stuff. And what about the Plains Indians? The American bison, so-called buffalo of the plains. Another classic example. Folks, the Great Plains of America, if you read the botanical historical texts, the plains, the sod of these Great Plains of America were millet sod. Millet's a grass. Grows very rapidly, grows very tall. See that part of the movie Dancing with Wolves where Kevin Costner walks out and his grass is almost to his eyes and he's waving his hands with the wind blowing. It's quite magical. That's exactly the way the Great Plains were in the journals. Mass sod, interwoven sod of the Great Plains, primarily millet grass. Millet, the top of the grass as it blooms has a seed. It kind of looks like a bird seed. Millet was the Plains Indians' main grain. They would harvest this from the grasses. They would grind it out on their stone grinding tools, and then they would make a flatbread. That was their staple. And the buffalo herds, they would follow the buffalo herds, and they'd have their meat. They would preserve and dry the meat. Skins would become their teepees. Milk is ounce for ounce, pound for pound, the most B17 richest food on the planet. The buffalo that ate the millet, and their flesh was rich in B17, their meat. Now you know why the Plains Indians had no cancer. There's no way it would ever become a problem. So why do we have, again, 33% of Americans' population are told, 1 in 3, you will have cancer in your lifetime. Wow. The tragedy, and it's not a tragedy, it's a crime. It's a criminal act. That the powers that be know nitroside B17 story, and they make it, I kid you not, they make it a federal crime to dispense the information. It's incredible. You can't practice medicine without a license. Because telling people the story, they say, is treating cancer patients, and how dangerous, how totally dangerous it is of you to tell them something that's absolutely quackery and fraudulent, because they may not do their chemotherapy and radiation. When Dr. Krebs discovered this in 1956, 57, you had cancer back then, what was your treatment of choice? Well, you go either get it cut out, surgery, or chemotherapy and radiation. Today, 2013, what's your treatment of choice? Nearly 60 years later. Surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. Cancer is big money. It's big business. It's multi-billions of dollars a year spent. These corrupt SOBs with the white coats are keeping the life-saving information, just like they are about the grains, ladies and gentlemen, just about like they are about water, about hydration, proper hydration, and please don't buy into the lie. I'm going to scream this out there, and I know this is going to make people upset. Don't buy into this alkaline water gobbledygook. It's a lie. These alkalizers that people spend thousands of dollars for, what do? They take the contaminated water stream, and I'm talking contaminated, full of all kinds of toxins from your tap water, and electrolyzes them to the point where it separates the electron structure out. The electron stripped water measures pH of alkaline. And the toxic sludge that comes out that's got heavier concentrations of electrons, that's acidic. Folks, when you drink alkalized water, what's happening is you're rapidly exacerbating the anti-nutrient structures of your cells. The Krebs cycles of the mitochondria can't function. You need to have pure water, pure hydrogen ions, not stripped negative charged structures. You can't have that. There are people that say, and they may be well-meaning, well, it's written in Japan. What? The Japanese, I mean, really, they should know better. I don't even buy the fact that it's used in the hospitals and what. Hospitals that are dominated by Western medicine? Are you kidding me? The purer the water that you can drink, whether it's spring water with less than 30 parts per million total dissolved solids, whether it's a good pristine well, it doesn't matter. But the purer the water is, and I'm talking pure, is measured by low TDS, low total dissolved solids. The lower the TDS, the more acid it is, the less alkaline it is. Do you realize this, ladies and gentlemen? The whole pH stands for percent parts hydrogen. That's what that big H is in little pH. Percent or parts hydrogen. The lower the number just simply means the more hydrogen ions are available. The more alkaline is, above 7.0 on the pH scale, the higher the pH, the more toxic it is, the more alkaline the water is. Holy mackerel. The powers that be, these lying SOBs and government halls, they want to make you, the water treatment centers by law have to keep the water alkaline. They put chemicals in it to make it above 7.7 on the pH scale. When you drink that stuff, you're not hydrating. And you're doing exactly what they want, as to create, to put seeds of disease in your body. People wonder all the time, I just got diagnosed with leukemia, or I got diagnosed with colon rectal cancer. What water are you drinking? Only the very best, Dr. Roth. And what is that? This so-and-so alkalizer. I've been drinking alkalized water for 10 years. It can't possibly be the water. I says, are you kidding me? Yes, it's good. It's absolutely what it is. Here in the Old West, in the desert areas of the Great Basin, you come out and you'll find these water holes. And sometimes the water gets concentrated out in these alkali flats. A lot of times you'll see dead animals around this water hole because water's toxic. What kills these animals that come and drink and die? Is it full of poison? Chemicals? No. Because the water is extremely alkaline. Drinking extremely alkaline water causes rapid dehydration and malfunctioning of the internal organs. You don't believe me? Go out and get stranded on a life raft and think you can get hydrated by drinking ocean water. Ocean water, because of its high mineral salt content, is extremely alkaline. Now, there are animals and fish that live in the sea that are able to use their God-given gifts to filter that out, and they live okay with it. But humans, you can't drink that stuff and survive. You will dehydrate. You'll dehydrate rapidly if you drink ocean water. It's the same concept here. Drinking alkalized water is flat out a recipe for disaster. What water should you drink, folks? I'll tell you. Get yourself a personal distiller. The purer the water, the better the distiller, the purer the water. And again, you can measure the alkalinity and acidity. The purer the water, and distilled water is as pure as it gets. It's going to measure about 5 on the pH scale. The actual chemical structure for that type of water is H3O. It's got extra hydrogen, H3O. The only time you really hit H2O is right at 7.0 balance on the pH scale. If you go above that, if you go to the EPA's guidelines of 7.7 and above, you got something called OH negative. It's called hydroxyl. OH negative. OH minus. Hydroxyl is a powerfully toxic free radical. Free radicals attack your cells and give you cancer. You understand what I'm talking about, folks? Yeah, I'm from the government, the EPA. I'm here to inspect your water treatment plant. I'm from the government. I'm here to help you. Well, please. It's incredible. I've seen places around this country where the water supply coming down is relatively great. Its pH is in the 6th range or lower, and it's cold and coming out of a spring. But it's not potable. It's not good to drink, the EPA tells you. And the city comes in and caps that well off and has to go into a big tank, and they have to pump it full of chemicals to make it potable. Kid you not, folks. Same people that want you to believe that you can't have milk unless it's homogenized and pasteurized. Toxic. One of the studies that I got went through, I was shocked when I learned this, of the whole study of milk. It was 3 credit hours of milk and dairy products, 3 credit hours. And the studies were amazing. Guernsey cows in Germany and England. Young calves, Jersey and Guernsey calves, were given homogenized and pasteurized milk rather than straight milk from the mother. They were just thinking they would measure to see what differences would be as far as development of the calves. Folks, 100% mortality in those calves. These are calves that are supposed to drink milk. They drink nothing but milk during that first critical few weeks of their existence. They died of toxicity, folks. Now, the dairy industry in America is extremely powerful, just like the cereal industry is. You go out there and denigrate their dairy products. Milk It does a body good. You're a misdemeanor. That's not a felony committed there for disparaging a quality staple health product. No. Milk is only digestible if the enzyme structure to digest those lactic acid proteins are intact. When you homogenize and pasteurize it, and flat out kill those enzymes, your body cannot assimilate it. Do not consume dairy products, ladies and gentlemen. Do not. If you want to be healthy, if you don't care about your health, by all means, knock yourself out. Drink all the skim milk you want. Eat all the ice cream your body can handle. Just go ahead. Suck it down. If you really care about your health, just stop. Well, my time shows it's after 7 o'clock. I haven't heard the music. Abby, are you still there? Oh, it's been a great time, folks. You have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday. You be well. Be safe.